She answered every message except the ones from herself. Melissa Grant was never unavailable. But one day, she realized the person she had been ignoring the most was the one living her own life. Melissa Grant's phone was an extension of her hand, a fifth limb, a constant companion. Its buzz was her pulse, its glow, her nightlight. She prided herself on her responsiveness. A text from a colleague at 9 p.m. answered in minutes. A family group chat buzzing on a Sunday morning. She was there, she was reliable, dependable, available. Her worth felt tied to her reply time. A quick response meant she was on top of things, caring, involved. The little read receipt was a tiny badge of diligence. But the cost of this constant connection was paid in a currency she never checked, her own presence. She'd be watching a movie with her husband, phone face up on her lap. Her body was on the couch, but her mind was in the digital ether, waiting for the next vibration. She'd take a walk in the park, but stop to photograph the sunset, not to feel it, but to share it. Her experiences were often filtered through the lens of how they would be perceived, not how they were felt. The exhaustion she felt wasn't the kind sleep could fix. It was a soul-deep weariness, a fragmentation of self. She was scattered across 100 conversations, 1,000 notifications. But when she lay in the dark, trying to find the center of herself, she heard only static. She had answered every call except the one from her own spirit. One morning, her phone died. A simple, empty battery. For a few hours, she was untethered, cast adrift. At first, the silence was deafening. Anxiety prickled her skin. Then, slowly, something else happened. She noticed the steam curling from her coffee cup. She heard the distinct song of a bird outside her window she'd never registered before. She had a single, uninterrupted thought from start to finish. It was the most rested silence she'd known in years. In that quiet, she heard the question she'd been avoiding. Who are you when you're not responding to someone else? She didn't have an answer, and that was the beginning. She started small, terrifyingly small. She turned her phone to Do Not Disturb for 1 hour after dinner. The first night, her hand reached for it out of habit a dozen times. She felt a visceral fear of missing out, of being seen as rude, but nothing collapsed. The world continued to spin. Her family adapted. Her friends survived. And in that small, reclaimed hour, she began to remember what just being felt like. Not being available, just being. She began to build boundaries not as walls, but as breathing room. She stopped charging her phone by her bed. She designated Sunday mornings as screenless. It wasn't a rejection of others. It was a reunion with herself. The world didn't stop asking for her attention, but she learned she had the right to ration it, to give it first to the things that nourished her, so she could have something real to offer others. She learned that true connection requires a self to connect from. In a world that prizes constant availability, your attention becomes its most valuable commodity. But if you spend it all on the bids of others, you'll have nothing left to invest in the life you're supposedly building. Silence isn't empty space. It's the container where your soul finally gets a chance to speak. Being unreachable isn't neglect, it's often the most profound act of self-care, and the only way to become someone worth reaching for. If Melissa's constant connectivity sounds familiar, perhaps share this moment of quiet with someone who might need it. Sometimes the most supportive thing we can do is give each other permission to disconnect. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more thoughts on finding balance in our busy world.